Episode 415 of the Pancakes and Powerslams show will be featuring Kid Kash talking about TNA, ECW, and his early wrestling upbringing, break, all those good things. We're going to be talking about Elimination Chamber 2. Let's go. TMP Nation, are you ready? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go!
Yeah. You already know what time it is. It's that official time where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape. Definitely bringing you the power of pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point, then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam show. Let's go! Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up! It's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up!
Episode 850, episode 415, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pancakes and Powerslam show. We are live and living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will, baby. Let's go. Let's have some fun tonight. As always, weekly wrestling interviews, latest news, and of course, we got some Elimination Chamber review this week. We're going to have some fun, and I'm really excited about it. What's going on, PNP Nation? How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? How's it going? What is going on? Marissa is in the building, one of the PNP faithfuls. What is going on, Brian? Great to have you as always. Kyle, welcome to the show. What's going on, Brendan? How is it going tonight? So, PNP Nation, let's have some fun tonight. I've got an interview with Kid Kash, actually, and the Kid Kash interview was lengthy, and it's going to be. I'm going to play the interview that I had with Kid Kash actually a few hours ago, so it was pretty cool. So we talked about a lot. Actually, we talked about so much, so we're going to make it a two-parter. We actually talked about his breaking into the business. We also talked about his TNA runs, and he had some choice words to say about that. You know, it's a PG show. I tell all my guests PG, but he slipped a few out. So he had some things to say about TNA. And also, he had some really good things. On the other hand, he had some really good things to say about ECW. So you will check that out as well. Really good discussion that I had with Kid Kash, and I'm about to play here in a minute. But, you know, everybody who's in the PNP Nation, you know how it is. I see the live, the stream is lit right now. There's a lot of people joining us live. So let's have some fun. For those joining the Pancakes and Powerslam show for the first time, this is what we do. This is the 415th episode of the show. I have a wrestling interview every week. Current, former WWE, TNA, ROH, and MLW. I've had everybody. I mean, I've had over 150 guests. This is my first time actually interviewing Kid Kash. I've interviewed so many people that I actually enjoy. I'm thankful and grateful for everybody I interview every single week. But I like to challenge myself and get firsts. So Kid Kash is a first ever time on the Pancakes and Powerslam show, and it was a really good time. We talked afterwards, really enjoyed the time that we talked together. And again, like I said, we're going to have a part two. We both agreed to have a part two. It'll probably be sometime after Mania, because I'm actually booked on the show until like, and I'm actually booked. I'm actually having interviews scheduled until the second week of May. So every week, you know, we haven't missed. Listen, and the 415 episodes that I've had on the Pancakes and Powerslam show so far, I made sure I do it for you. I made sure to have that as a feature, as a highlight on the show, weekly wrestling interviews, and we have not missed a single week since I started doing this. I would have wrestling interviews like probably once to twice a month. It started to get twice a month. And then since 2016, so this is the fourth straight year that I've had interviews every single week. So, and for those who who joined in a few weeks ago, y'all saw that the streak was almost compromised. Yeah, but Brian Cage, former Impact World Champion Brian Cage, came through when Steve Blackman was in Night Court. So, but you know, still have a great, still cool with Steve Blackman. Still have a positive relationship with him. He actually we actually talked the next day. We had a good conversation, and he actually gave y'all an apology message and said that he'll be on the show soon. And y'all can actually check out my Crave Wrestling page for that. Speaking of no shows, Brian, guess what? Guess who I spoke to? Actually, the same day I spoke to Steve Blackman. I spoke to Sid, America's favorite Sid. Sid and I had a really good conversation on the phone. We talked for a while, actually. We talked about basketball. I didn't know he was a Duke fan. I'm a huge Duke basketball fan. Didn't know he was a Duke fan. We were actually having a conversation, a really good conversation. He apologized and all that good stuff. So I'm going to record an interview with him. I'm not going to run the risk again of promoting Sid live, and I'm not going to do that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to figure out a time to record again. I'm booked for the next 2 months as far as interviews every week. And I still got to pick up Dan Severin too, because he was sick and he wasn't able to come last week. He actually apologized too, and gave me a message of him apologizing being sick. So interviews, the anniversary show is in 3 weeks. The anniversary show, the 8th year anniversary show of the Pancakes and Powerslams show is in 3 weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 big names that are going to be on the show live that night. Video. We're going to have fun. We're going to do Q&A. We're going to have 2 people live video at the same time. And it's going to be fun for the 8th year anniversary show. We got the questions rolling in already. I love it. Marissa, what do I think of the new chamber? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I guess, right? I mean, I really didn't get wowed by it. So, did he ask if he could start over? Yeah, we made amends, Brian. We made amends. I told him, I'm a frank person. I'm a big lover of Jesus, but ain't no but. I mean, with that, I'm very direct. I used to be very direct, but now I used to be very direct in just a rude way, but now I'm very direct in love. So I called him and I said, "Hey, man, you no-showed me twice," and he's like, "Yeah, man, I apologize," and so he was trying to figure out the system and how to work it and stuff like that. And I was like, "All right, man, all right, we're cool, and we're going to get another interview set and scheduled with Sid." So lots of fun. All right, we got some Ask Chris questions. Thank you, Gabriel, for doing it right. Ask Chris, if MVP started a faction, who should be in it? Nobody, because he shouldn't start a faction. I actually like MVP, but I don't see them. I don't see a faction with MVP going anywhere, to be honest with you. For the integrity of the question, to answer your question, for the integrity of the question, I would say, so obviously it's a heel stable on Raw. I would do just a bunch of, here's the thing, man. I would do a bunch of people who have been buried, who like 4 or 5 people who've been buried who want that extra chance. I would turn Cedric Alexander heel. I don't know how I feel about Ricochet going heel. I don't know if that'll work. I would turn Cedric heel. I would do like you have someone like a Mojo Rawley, right? But I don't even know if that will work as far as Mojo Rawley. But I would definitely have Cedric Alexander be one of the top people in it. If there's a tag team that's out there now that needs some shine, of course you have someone like a Hawkins and Ryder, but that would be my first one. Shane, welcome to the show. You're new to the show. Well, everybody, welcome Shane to the Pancakes and Powerslams show. You listen to Tom Clark's main event. Hey, listen, Tom is a good dude, man. That's my guy. Did you hear the rumor Tampa might cancel WrestleMania due to the coronavirus outbreak? So, we will talk about that actually right after the interview. Shane, every week, this is how the format of the show goes. Thank you for asking that question. Every week, I feature an interview off the top. I usually do it either live I've been for the past, I don't know, year or so, close to it. I've been doing more live videos. Kid Kash was on today. I actually did a recorded video of him today because he gets up early in the morning for work. So I did a video a few hours ago with him and we talked about some good stuff. So at the top of the show, I featured the interview. Typically right after I answer Ask Chris question, hashtag Ask Chris. And then we do some headlines, 3 to 4 headlines each time. And then we do the Raw and SmackDown review. And then at the end, Shane, we have a random group discussion called the Flavor of the Week. And every week I usually pick a topic of what to talk about. This week, we're going to talk about WrestleMania 27. And we're going to review the whole card and really discuss if it really was that bad. All right. And then after the interview, my good friend, my really, really good friend, Evan Tech Prout, he's the co-host of the show. He hops on, and then we have fun talking. All right, Shane, thanks for coming on, man. Stick tight, and I'll be answering your questions if you have any more. Again, everybody, welcome Shane to the show. Brendan's asking, so this whole Edge and Orton story is getting better and better. So my question is, does it last longer after Mania? Well, Edge has a very short, he has a 3-year deal, so he'll be there for a while, but his appearances are very infrequent, like only a few a year. So, I'd imagine he'll culminate at Mania, and then he'll probably come around against SummerSlam season. I'm very hesitant to put him back in like a title picture or something like that. Very hesitant for that, but we'll see how far they take it. All right. Good stuff, y'all. Welcome to the show. It's already fun. Super, super duper fun. And I'm going to try. All right. So next, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the recording that I had with earlier today with my boy Kid Kash, which is super fun, super exciting. And I'm going to go ahead and play this interview. It is a bit lengthy, so hang tight. I think that you will enjoy all of it, and I will be right back after the interview. We're going to talk about some Ask Chris questions. We're going to have some fun. I really think you'll like Kid Kash interview. He had a lot to say about TNA. It wasn't very positive, so I'm sure that you'll enjoy that. And he also had a really good things to say about ECW as well. So it's going to be super duper fun to watch, I believe. And of course, keep commenting on the side. Keep having fun on the side chat. And I'll go ahead and take some of those Ask Chris questions and put them in my my bank and answer them afterwards. All right, everybody, this is Kid Kash interview, and I'll be right back. Enjoy the interview, guys. All right, as you can see, I am here with the one and only. One of the meanest, baddest cruiserweights, X division that you want to that has ever stepped foot into professional wrestling. He's a former. Help me with this. I'm gonna try to guess it all as far as like major brands. Okay, so you've been a cruiserweight champion in WWE. You've been an X division champion in TNA. You were also the NWA tag champs with Lance, my buddy Lance Archer, Dallas at the time. And you were also an ECW television champion too, right?
Sure was. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Kid Kash, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
You're good? I'm good, man. I'm fantastic. Great to have you on the show tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So it's been a while since you've actually competed in the ring, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Except for this, actually, believe it or not, this past weekend, I did Friday and Saturday nights with TNA down in Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
Impact
Nice.
Wrestling. Yeah,
Nice.
Impact Pro.
Nice. So you went back.
No.
Just a one-off.
Yeah. They're doing something. I guess. What's that guy's name? Moose.
Moose.
He is I guess going for King of the Mountain. They're having an original TNA, not Impact. It's two separate brands now, from what my understanding. And they're having, like a get together of some of the old guys like Johnny Swinger and Hernandez was there, Sabu, Rob Van Dam, Top Dreamer. I think they're pulling Sandman in there a couple of times and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I'll be on their pay-per-view. I think it's May, no, April, 3rd or 4th. I'm down in Florida for the 3rd and the 4th for a pay-per-view. It's an pay-per-view.
Yep. They're having their their old school show. Yep.
But other than that, that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you? I know that you're 50 now, so you're away from the ring. And it's funny because a lot of times people have young gimmicks. They have young gimmicks, and in hindsight, you're like, well, he's 50 now. He's not a kid anymore. So,
well, I believe. Well, actually, I had them announce me as David Kid Kash.
I love it. Yeah.
I told them the same thing, and believe it or not, when I was in the WWE, the last time, I was like in my late 30s at the time, and I told John Laurinaitis and I had the conversation. I'm like, how about we drop, the kid and just call me Cash, because everybody, knows that's my name anyway. And he just didn't want to do it. He was like, no, he goes, you're a heel, and that's the heat in itself right there. So I had to keep it through there. But then when I went back to TNA after WWE, everybody had just, remembered me as Kid Kash. So I just kind of ran with that again. Yeah, when I went back this past weekend, I asked him to, please, just call me David Kid Kash. I'm not a kid anymore,
No.
So, by a long shot.
No, sir, not a kid anymore. Yeah. So speaking of a kid, you actually started in the business late 80s, right? It was Ricky Morton that gave the break, right?
Originally, it was 1989 originally. First match was in 1990. And that's through Ricky Morton. Some with and lots of other people. Me and Ricky were very tight. So for the first 5 years of my career, I was with Ricky pretty much everywhere.
Wow.
I was either a tag team partner with him or getting me on the shows, and people were booking me, either from my talent or through him, But I was just learned so much from everybody. In the first 5 years, I didn't even wrestle any indie guys really. Very few. Retired, legends and stuff like that. I was wrestling Greg Valentine, and my first match was Wahoo McDaniels.
Wow, that's a legend right there.
Wow. And that was a hard lesson for my first match too. I hadn't learned carney yet. Nobody had taught me carney. Old school guys, that's what they lived by.
Yeah, that's right.
So he was talking to me, and I had no clue what he was saying, and he was getting madder and madder.
Yeah.
And I kept doing the rookie thing. I would stop what I was doing and would say, huh? or what? And after about the fourth what, he calmly just walked me back to the turnbuckle, and he was about to chop me, and he goes, boy, if I was you, I'd blow all my air out. And dumbass me went, what? Dude, he chopped me so damn hard that it just completely collapsed me.
Wow.
I dropped to my knees. I was gasping for air because he knocked the breath out of me. And I remember looking up, and I just saw a white pair of moccasins walking around me in a circle. And when he got to the other side, he kicked me so hard in my liver that it actually flipped me over onto my back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he picks my leg up, and he looks at me and he goes, what I think from what I can remember, he's like, "Welcome to the business, kid." And he did a spinning full hold. But when he did, he cranked it. And he dislocated my ankle.
Wow.
And, didn't break it, but he dislocated. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And when we were in the back, Ricky was just all over me, because he was like, "Why are you letting, that anybody beat your ass like that?" And he said, you're a wrestler, you're a real wrestler outside of this. You've been doing MMA since a little kid, so you could have defended yourself. And I was like, "Well, wait a minute, you told me I had to respect the veterans, and do what they say." And he goes, "I didn't mean tell them, let them kick your ass."
Yeah.
So he walked by the door, and he didn't know that Ricky was my trainer. So he walked by the doorway. He kind of poked his head in there, and he seen me sitting up there with ice on my ankle, and paramedics, popping my leg back into place and stuff.
Wow.
So,
oh my
he was like, he didn't apologize or anything. He just, said, "If I see you around, I might show you some respect," because he thought I would probably quit at that point, being my first match. But I saw him 6 months later, and had learned carney in between that time, and I wrestled him again in Richmond, Virginia, at a fair. And it was a completely different story after that.
Yeah. So for those who don't,
those guys I was wrestling, the bushwhackers and stuff on the Indies. I was wrestling Jerry Lawler and you name it. I was wrestling all these older guys.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a way to definitely a good way to enter into the business. So for those who don't know, of course, it's a PG show. So give us the PG version of carney, for those who don't know what carney means.
Carney's just like pig Latin, everybody would honestly know it. It was kind of stolen from one of the WrestleManias by Salt and Pepper. Yeah, they were backstage at the WWE because they were entertainment that night, and they kept hearing everybody talk, chisel my nizzle and all that other stuff. So that's basically what it is. It's the izzle, the is, is actors, kind of stuff. And they just thought it was pretty cool. Then the next thing you know, they're taking it to the rap team. So everybody in the rap knows carney.
So how does that? So for those who don't know, or listening who don't know how carney applies to like a wrestling match, could you guys call the moves out, right, and then you use carney to do that?
Back in my early days, carney kind of just died out completely when the boys were calling the match, started calling them all of the match in the dressing room. When I broke in, we didn't call the matches in the dressing room. We called them out
on the
ring.
spot. Yeah, on the fly. Yeah. Very, very interesting. So, around what time did you realize that no more carney?
Probably right about maybe 2000.
Okay. Wow, it lasted that long? I didn't even know it lasted that long. Oh wow.
Yeah, it was just depending on who you wrestled. I mean, the more younger guys than me at the time didn't practice it at all, but guys in my era, we all still practiced it and stuff like that. I didn't practice it, like I said, for the first year because nobody, Ricky just didn't teach me that. He taught me everything else, but like I said, I learned other stuff from other wrestlers and stuff too as I went. And I would hear them talk in the dressing room sometimes, to each other.
Yeah.
But I just thought they were bullshit. I didn't know that that was an actual language at the time. When we were in the ring, Ricky pretty much ran the match and told me, kind of what to do and stuff like that. And other than that, we called most of it in the ring. So I just did what I wanted to do. Guys just did it, But nobody really had talked about it until that one, until that first match. And then, after that, I learned it.
Wow.
The hard way. I realized a lot of people spoke it too, because I wrestled, like I said, the bushwhackers, Jerry Lawler, all these older guys back in the day, and they were speaking it. you know, and I guess they just assumed that I knew it because they didn't ask me. They just spoke it, and I just, you know, follow along with it, you know.
Now, as far as ECW is concerned, okay, so someone introduced you to Heyman, right?
Rob Van Dam.
Okay. Now, how did you and RVD get close? I mean, how did y'all get a relationship for him to recommend you to Heyman?
We had known each, you know, we broke in about the same time, and he was just met on indie shows, and he was doing a bunch of shows for a guy named Greg Price, in the Carolinas. Rob was actually living in, I think, Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we just met and became really good friends. I mean, the first time we ever met, we just instantly clicked, and you know, and just hung out a lot and stuff like that whenever we were at shows. And then he was going to Japan a lot at the time. And then one night we were in, God, I think it was Goldsboro, North Carolina. Excuse me. And after my match, he, you know, was like, dude, he goes, why are you wrestling here on the indies all the time? Why aren't you in Japan or something like that? And I was like, well, I just don't have the, you know, the up-to-date hookups, because the hookups from Ricky have been got there's this or that, you know. He was like, well, I wrestle for ECW too here in the States. And I hadn't even heard of ECW, believe it or not. And, he was like, yeah, we come on like late at night, you know, and all this stuff. And so, you know, we just talked more and more. And he goes, man, it's on TV. It's a really happening new company. It's been around for a while, but it's just now getting exposure. He goes, man, you would fit in so good up there. And, so I drove home. That same night, and when I got home, this was on a Friday night, and they were going to be in Philadelphia the next night on Saturday. I drove all the way home, and when I got home, I was unpacking my bags, and I turned it on the FSN channel, Sports South. No, it was Sports South channel, and there it was. You know, it was real grainy and you know, raw and stuff like that. I liked it right off the bat. You know.
Yeah.
And I started watching them, and I was watching Little Guido and Mikey Whipwreck wrestle a match. Watching the match, and I was like, well, damn, I do all of that and better, you know? So I called him right there, and he was like, I was like, so do you think I could get on up there? He goes, dude, we're going to be in Philadelphia tomorrow. I'll introduce you to Paul Heyman. And I was like, wow, oh, Philadelphia. Okay. I live in Johnson City, Tennessee, you know, which is about probably about a 14-hour drive, you know. So I was like, oh, damn, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he's like, well, he goes, it's there if you want it. He goes, we're not going to be back there for another, you know, month. You know, that's right. So went back into my room, unpacked my bag. I repacked my bag. I got in the car and I drove all night and pretty much all morning and stuff. I think I realized I got to about noon or 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I drove up there, napped in Rob's room, and took a shower and stuff, cleaned up, went to the building, and I've been with Ricky, so pretty much everybody knew me. I was David Jericho back then. And I walked in the door. Rob walked right over to Paul, and he goes, Paul, I want you to meet somebody. And when I walked up to shake his hand, he goes, David Jericho, how are you? And I was like, what? He knows me? Everybody knows you. You're Ricky's boy, you know? So,
wow.
We talked for a few minutes and stuff like that. And he says, I've been, you know, hearing a lot of good things about you and stuff like that. And then he looked at, he says, you got your gear? And I was like, yes, sir, I sure did. He goes, good, you're on in 15 minutes. Hurry up.
Oh, wow.
And I did 6-man tag.
Hired on the spot.
Hired on the spot.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
It was because the crowd were smart marks. You know, they were the first real smart marks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so I had no idea. You know, I never had that point. I'd never wrestled in Philadelphia before. So I had no idea that the fans would know me up there. And but they did. And right before, and I was still wearing the Rock and Roll Express, outfit look, the instance, the bandanas and stuff like that. And Tommy Dreamer stopped me at the curtain. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "don't be distracted. Don't get your feelings hurt because everybody gets booed out of the building the first time." I was like, "Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm just going out here to wrestle, And when the music hit, I walked out. People started chanting rock and roll.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
just crazy. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Later on that night, at the hotel, after the show was over with, all these fans, would show up and we'd have a drink with them or have some dinner or something there at the hotel, and fans would just pour in, and everybody knew David Jericho. It was pretty cool. It was like, "Yeah, man, Ricky Morton's son, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, well, that's what we did, because I was young, and me and Ricky kind of looked a little bit alike, When I first got into business and tagged with him, he told everybody I was his son."
Oh, wow. That worked out for you.
Yeah. So I just kind of kept working with it, for years.
Nice. What's your overall take on just your experience in ECW? Because ECW was really your first big break as far as like a quote, like major exposure, television exposure. You won the television championship there. What's your overall, thoughts on your experience in ECW?
Best company I ever worked for.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Absolutely, by far. We had complete creative control of our characters, our matches. There was no agents or anything like that telling us what we could do. Nobody, if they would come up to you and they would stick a microphone in your face, and if you could do an interview, then you kept doing interviews. If you couldn't, then they just wouldn't bring it back. They never really scripted anything, as far as our interviews or anything. They would just kind of give you the gist of what they wanted to get out of it, and then the rest was character and how you would do it.
Yeah.
It was a great company, and everybody there was young and hungry, and it challenged me more than any company I ever worked for, because you had to be better, than everybody else, So I was out there competing with like Nova and Chetty and Dorian and Roadkill and Mikey Whipwreck, Lil Guido. I mean, just a whole list of just great talent. Taka Michinoku was there at the time, Papi Chulo, Tajiri, So it just made me step up my A game, and to me, that's the place that I really, I guess how you would say, come into yourself,
Yeah. That's really awesome, man. So Heyman is, one of the kind of long-standing kind of black clouds that hovers over ECW has, is the late pay from Heyman. Did you ever experience that?
I didn't.
Okay.
I was there 2 different times. I was there from 95 to 96, and then I broke my leg pretty bad and I replaced my knee. Then I went back in 1998, and I was there till they closed. When I went back in 98, they actually gave me a contract.
Nice.
So I didn't have to work by the night or anything like that, like I did the first time. But I never, I did. Every one of my paychecks came to me. But I got the phone call, of course, telling me that the company was no more.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect any more money after that.
Yeah.
A lot of guys evidently did. They expected their contract to be, fully paid out. I, kind of living in the real world a little bit there. I was like, well, this is over with. There's no more money coming here. I got to go somewhere else now.
Yeah. So I think it was 2001 when they bought him out. When WWE bought him out. Yeah. And so how come? I mean, did Vince consider you to transition over to WWE? Did y'all ever have talks?
Yeah, we definitely talked. I actually got signed by WCW because of that. I went to John Laurinaitis was booking the WCW then, I'd been gotten probably a handful of calls before ECW even shut down, WCW, and was just asking what my situation was, and it was about 3 different people, and then the last one was John Laurinaitis. He called up and just wanted to know what my situation was, and at the time I had no clue that anything was going on, so I told him I was happy and everything was good, and so couple, I don't know, 5 or 6 months later, that's when it all went down. And then whenever they did, so one of the guys that I know, Jason, he was Jason Jett in WCW. He was Easy Money in ECW, the little time I was there. But he called me up and he was like, yeah, these guys are asking what your situation is. I was like, well, I mean, there's no more company. He goes, yeah, so you want to talk to him. So I talked to John, and John said I had to get a release, regardless from Paul. Well, Paul wasn't there. Paul was never good at answering the phone to begin with. So it took me about 2.5, 3 months to finally get a hold of him. I had to call Tommy Dreamer and say, look, man, I just want to go to work. I was like, whatever he feels he owes me on the contract, I don't care about that. I just want to go to work. Yeah. So Paul did call me, and I signed a release, basically saying that any further monies that that he was to owe me on my contract was null and void, and I had no problem with that. I signed it, sent it back. He sent it back to me the same day, the copy, and I sent that same copy to John Laurinaitis, and I wound up getting hired. So about 3 weeks, 3 weeks later, I went to was it Thunder?
Yeah.
Thursday Night Thunder, and I wrestled Jason Jett, and we had a great match. And at the end of the night, I walked to the back, and he gave me my next week's packet to go to Panama City.
Wow. And so that was I was going to say that was the week before the close, right?
Yes, it was. I signed actually 2 weeks before, and then I wrestled the week, before. And then I got a phone. He called me up middle of the week and told me to just send it home, and he would be getting back to me. And I was like, okay. So of course, I watched the show that night, and I saw what was going on. And he called me back about 2 weeks later, and said, because I signed a pretty good deal with him. We negotiated a really nice deal. Jimmy Hart jumped in there and helped me out a little bit on the deal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a pretty good little deal. And then he says, well, he goes, this is the deal. We got 2 companies. We got a lot of people. We want to keep you, but here's the conditions. We're going to renegotiate your contract down to $65,000 a year, and we moved to Cincinnati.
Now, was it substantially higher than that?
Yes.
Initially? Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it was quite higher than that.
Oh,
and
wow.
And other conditions went with it too, as far as the light heavyweight division went. And so I was, I'm in my 30s, early 30s at the time, and I'm like, hey, I got a house, I live, I'm established where I'm at, I got a kid. I can't just move to Cincinnati, and then John was like, well, that's the condition, I was like, well, how long will it be before I go up? And he was like, well, the business, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 3 years, who knows? And I got to thinking about it, so I called Jimmy Hart, and Jimmy was like, it's really up to you, but I don't think that where you're at right now with your character and your popularity, that you could be disappearing from the public eye and not knowing if you're going to go up or not, can really pull your name down.
Yeah, for sure. So essentially you turned down a WWE deal because they were telling you to relocate, and you said, no, I'm not going to.
Well, that, and they wasn't giving me any kind of indication, what was going to happen once I got there.
Yeah,
exactly. It was, I'm going to move to Cincinnati. I'm going to be in a developmental camp with a bunch of other WCW guys. And then whenever you time and you find a spot, then you'll call me up.
Yeah, you'll just be waiting with the other WCW guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it could happen, it could not happen, but all along I would be off TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just turned it down because Jimmy and Hulk Hogan had pulled some strings and started their own company, the XWF.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned that one down, and then I signed with the XWF, and we did about 8 tapings.
Yeah.
You know, and then we did probably about 8 house shows. You know, we went to Puerto Rico with Carlos Colon's group, did a little angle there, and then we did some stuff out in the Midwest. And they shut down because QVC was actually sponsoring the Money Man. You know.
Oh wow.
But when I signed the contract, I signed a no compete clause for 3 years. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So they came back. There's something that happened inside their company. They had one of their biggest warehouses in India, and something happened with that, with the government and all that stuff. So they had to take the money back because they put up like $80 million.
Oh wow.
And, well, evidently they took it back, and Jimmy still tried to sell the tapes, you know, to a TV network and stuff like that, and try to find sponsors with Hulk Hogan. But for 3 years, you know, regardless, I got a weekly paycheck for.
Oh, well, that was good.
For 3 years straight, I got a nice little paycheck, and then within a couple of months of that ending, the money kept coming, but the company ended, and I went to TNA at that point.
I must have been the breeziest 3 years of your life, huh?
Yeah, I was getting paid from the QVC for doing absolutely nothing, and then I was also getting paid from TNA as well. So
wow, that's great.
That worked out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not gonna keep you too much longer. There's a lot that. And this is really the first time we've discussed your wrestling career, you know, and I'm really interested to know, because you've been in the business for 30 years, so you know, so there's so much to talk about with your wrestling career. A couple things on TNA and a couple things on WWE. Hopefully, I can have you back again soon, man. So
absolutely,
yeah, cool. So just a couple things on TNA. Just we'll get into more detail, you know, if you come back on the show again. Most likely when you come back on the show again. I'm just interested in your, because I think it was like 05 around the time you came to TNA. 05 06 time.
To TNA just right at the end of 01, first part of 02, and then I stayed there till 05. That's when I went to WWE.
The Pitbulls,
right?
yeah. You did the Cruiserweight stuff. Then you did the Pitbulls, the Dallas, and the NWA, because they weren't even merged. They were still in NWA territory, because that's when I remember you. I remember all of your TNA run. Well, your TNA run, and it was still NWA TNA, and the 01, the 02 time, because I think they started in 02. I think that was their debut year, was 02. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, because I think them and ROH started the same year, if I'm not mistaken. But so that was when you and Lance, or Dallas at the time, that's when y'all were teaming up, and you were feuding with Dusty at the time too, weren't you? You had some matches with Dusty. Yeah,
I wrestled Dusty. I wrestled a couple of those guys. Harley Race. I did Dustin Rhodes. A lot of those guys. Yeah. But actually, me and Abyss won the tag titles first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dallas won them again.
Yeah. So two-time champ. That's right. Yeah. What was your? Because that was when was it Russo that had the book at that time, and around 02, around the beginning of TNA. So that was the SEX and all of that, you know, the stable and all that stuff. And that was when Tenay and Don West was yeah. How was that? Because you end up being in TNA like 3 or 4 times, right? Like 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah. It was always a rocky road with those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. They just had different views of I guess my career than I did, so it was always a struggle. And, the money became an issue, and stuff. They were, they had me, coming in there with a name and popularity and stuff. And then they wanted to, and I understand they wanted to build their own stable. So, guys like AJ Styles, I was like one of his first big angles. We had the Falls Count Anywhere in the building and all that stuff, and came off the couch into tables and fought into the crowds, and and I put them over night in and night out, and it was like, what's the point of having an angle if you're going to be putting the guy over every single match?
That's a good point.
The pay-per-view. And then they started trying to do it with other people, and then come to guys like James Storm and Chris Harris, who had nobody had ever heard of, period, getting bigger paychecks than me. And I'd been asking for a raise because the first year was for a certain amount of money because they were just getting started and they were only doing Wednesday night pay-per-views. Well, I only signed for a year at that point, but then what it was is if they, in the contract, if they pulled out any type of merchandise on you, they had the right to roll you over on your contract. So after the first year, I was ready to leave. I was going to go to Japan. And then I was also talking to WWE again as well. And so I'd been pretty much set my sights on leaving at the end of the year. Well, when my contract was up, they called me up and told me that they rolled me over. And
wow.
So I was like, well, I want a raise. That's just flat out. If you're going to pay these kids and then you're going to have, have me get them over.
Right.
Because that's how James Storm and, Chris Harris got over. They were wrestling me in Abyss. We were getting beat every damn night, just like we was before with AJ, and the other guys and stuff. So that was the condition. I told him, I was like, well, if you're going to, kill my career by making me a jobber, then I want more money.
Yeah, for sure.
So they always thought, oh, it's not in the budget. It's not in the budget and all this other stuff. So they give me a little bit of money, and it wasn't anything to be, it was pretty insulting, I thought, but
was that a Dixie? Was Dixie around real heavy at that time or no?
Not at that time.
Okay.
She didn't really come around for me, until the second time I went back to TNA.
Oh, okay. So Jarrett was mostly in the first time, right?
Yeah, it was Jarrett, and no, Dixie came in at the very end of that. That's right, she did, because that's when we started going down to Florida.
Okay, yeah.
And right before I left, we started going down to Florida, and she had just became a part of it. So,
wow.
Yeah, and just the whole thing with the way it was being run and stuff, it was just disturbing. Dixie had absolutely no idea about wrestling or anything, and if you looked her up on the internet at the time, it would show you that she already had like 4 different failing companies.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Her dad gave her, some money and said, hey, here's her wrestling organization. I mean,
now I did know that, Panda Energy, gave her, her dad gave her money, but I didn't know she had an unsuccessful, unsuccessful companies.
She had like 4 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
4 of them.
And Pops keep giving her the money.
Oh yeah, the guy's a multi-billionaire. He does whatever she wanted. But and just the way they ran the company. She started putting her ideas in that were absolutely just ridiculous, and it was just stunned. I was stunned that people like Jeff Jarrett was like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever you want, Dixie.
Before we go, give me at least one of the just kookiest, just zaniest, ridiculous ideas that you remember from Dixie Carter.
Dixie Carter? Well, my whole thing was her wanting to be the next Vince McMahon.
Okay.
She started putting herself out there on the TV, and then she even made action figures herself because we started getting the action figures out. Well, they had one made of her. It was like, what are you? You're ridiculous. Anytime you're on camera, you look like you're a fish out of water. you're not good at what you're doing. Well, why are you even being a part of this? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And then once she did that, she just became like Hulk Hogan, didn't want to leave.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, we're going to cut it from there. We're going to do a part 2 real soon, where we're going to we'll dive into your WWE career. Is that cool?
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Awesome. Where can people find you on social media, or if you do social media, or what do you? How can people contact you?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
What's your Twitter handle?
David Kid Kash.
The same thing with Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. It's been a pleasure, my buddy. You have a great night, and thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been fun.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, buddy.
All right, have a good night.
All right, take care.
Bye. All right, that was fun. That was cool. I appreciate everybody staying through and sticking to it. I hope everybody enjoyed the Kid Kash interview. He was a tough guy, man. He was one of the toughest guys. I'm really interested in diving into the WWE part as well, because I think there's a lot of things I want to talk to him about with the WWE, especially the pit bulls. They were pushing them, and then they stopped pushing them, and why he got released in WWE. So there's a lot that I want to chat with him. That would have went another hour. So I decided to cut it with the everything that led up to WWE, and then next we'll talk about WWE. So, all right, EMP Nation, let's have some fun. Hashtag Ask Chris for any of the questions. We're about to jump into the headlines. My boy Evan Tech Proud's about to hop on, about to do this. We got a few headlines. We got a couple headlines, and then we're going to talk about Elimination Chamber. Once again, the flavor of the week this week, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania 27. Was WrestleMania 27 that bad? Was it that bad? We'll talk about it. Ask Chris, says Elvis, any update on Scott Steiner? Nobody's firing in Scott Steiner. For those who don't know, there was a taping that he was a part of, and he collapsed, had some heart issues, and to find out has some heart issues, and I think that he had to go. I think he had to do like emergency surgery or something like that. Let me find out. So as of 2 days ago, wife said he'll make a full recovery. Yeah, so full recovery. Yeah, so that's the latest. That is the latest as of a couple of. Yeah, he stopped breathing, collapsed backstage, during an Impact taping. So, according to his wife, he'll be good to go. So, let's see. Needed his heart to be shocked. Yeah, so that's what it was. He needed his heart to be shocked. Wife Krista said, "We appreciate all the well wishes, thoughts, and prayers. He will make 100% recovery." Krista posted that on Twitter on the 7th of March. So that was a few days ago. So 100% recovery. So yeah. So as of the 7th, that's what it seemed like. That's where we are. Full recovery. All right. Let me tackle a few of these, couple of these Ask Chris questions before I bring on my man, Evan Tech Proud. Alma, welcome back to the show, Alma. Update on Killer Tim Brooks and what's the deal with AJ and Undertaker. AJ and Undertaker. WrestleMania. Match between them two. Yeah, Killer Tim Brooks. I know that he was. I know that he was in the hospital too. Let's see what the deal is with him. Yeah, he entered hospice last week. Yeah, so it seems like he still may be in the hospital as of last week. Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's what the latest is. Still in the hospital. I haven't seen anything other than last week's update was he was in the hospital. So nothing new as far as I know, as far as I can see. Kyle, what do you think? I believe they're going to do with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. He's going to job somebody. They shut down broken Matt Hardy coming back. So they'll probably shut down, oh gosh, what was his name? Itchweed or Willow the Wisp or any of those other, alter egos of Jeff Hardy. Honestly, I mean, they'll probably just give him a big, hey, I'm back type of thing. I really don't see anything else. I mean, you have, Sammy winning their kind of championship, but I think that's just going to lead to Braun winning it back at WrestleMania. So that's out the picture. He said funny because I watched the Q&A that he had after backstage. He actually wants to team up with R-Truth. But they're on separate brands. Really, there's not much left to do with Jeff. I mean, I like Jeff Hardy. He's pretty dope. But it just doesn't seem like there's too much to go with him. What I think about Brady's quarterback of Titans, I think I've said it before. I am sold on it. Do it now. I'm all for it. If it's just 1 year, I'm cool with it. I am totally fine with just 1 year. Ryan Tannehill, he's going to build our franchise. Let him kind of spend this year. I mean, I put him in. I'll give him some reps too, honestly. But yeah, I'll totally be cool with it. All right, real quick. With superstars, can I have a Drew McIntyre type of career resurgence to leave WWE? Good question, Gabriel. I really like that question. Cedric-ish. I think Ricochet definitely would. Definitely Ricochet. I can imagine him being a top guy somewhere. That would be my number one. Robbie, Heavy Machinery should have won SmackDown titles. I thought they performed well, deserved the titles other than the match. Always put his body on line. No, because they're leading up to Otis versus Ziggler, and this and Elimination Chamber. Evan and I will talk about it as a whole, but I think that was a really good story with that formulated out of that. I think that was good. I think that it was a good way to continue that story. So I was a fan of that. Your comment about Shane, I think I did, Brian. I think you said something about Shane and AEW. Reiterate that and refresh my memory on that. All right, last before I bring on Evan, what I think about Sammy winning the Intercontinental Championship. We will be talking about that. As a matter of fact, we will now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring on the co-host with the most, Evan Tuck Proud. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. Did I just see a Tom Brady? Did I just see a Tom Brady comment?
Yes. You know what? And as much as I don't like Tom Brady because he's a Michigan guy, but I will be on board with him joining the. It's one of those. Are you? Oh no! Are you gonna? I'll be cool with him jumping on board with the Titans for 1 year, man, and giving us a championship, a Super Bowl. I'd be cool with it. So totally.
He's not going to Tennessee.
Well, it's been a big talk. I think he should stay with New England, honestly.
New England.
But here's the thing. these are the things that I've heard. I've heard that him and Bill Belichick, they never had the best relationship. And they would bump heads a few times. And plus, Brady played with Mike Vrabel in the Patriots, who's now the coach of the Titans. So I think he'd have a whole bunch of leeway and he'd be like a general. He'll have like a leadership role when it comes to. I mean, he had that with New England, but I think he'll have more access to really be a general. In New England, since he used to play with Vrabel. So
it could work either way. I mean, if I was Brady, I'd soak up all the money I can get with New England and pay for another 2 years. You got 6 Super Bowls. You don't have to have a great relationship with your coach. I mean, look at Chuck Noll and Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw.
The best. Look at Mike Ditka and my man McMahon.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't see Brady going to Tennessee, but it'll be cool.
You just went out of sound.
What about now?
Oh, yep. I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with it. I mean, either way, it'll be some good stuff. And
yeah.
And I'm trying to recover, man. The chamber was whack. Raw was whack. AEW Dark was creepy and good and just trying to stay abreast. So we'll definitely see.
Yeah. Shane says, I heard a rumor that Tom Brady enrolled his kids in a Nashville school. Yeah. Oh, something brewing in Nashville. Yeah.
That is true.
Something brewing in Nashville, brother. Yeah.
Here's the question. If there is so, and I know for a fact, Tom Brady just bought a house.
Oh,
then he just bought a house in LA.
Interesting.
So we'll see. When he goes to the Chargers, he's talking about him going to the 49ers. Fans, you may be wondering why are we talking about football, because I mean what we're talking about.
You said talk about football. Say that again. What'd you say after that?
Oh, I said I know people saying why we talking about football, but what really hasn't been that much exciting for the past week of wrestling.
No, nothing.
Not really much.
Robbie, Tennessee, take me to another place. Take me to another place.
Like that.
Yeah, that's funny. I like it. That's funny.
I like Tennessee. I like them back when they were there. Houston Oilers.
The Houston Oilers. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. I started liking them in '96. That was when I like them transitioning from the Oilers to the Titans. And I became a Tennessee Titans fan after, because everybody knows I am one of the biggest Ohio State fans. A huge Ohio State fan. Eddie George went from Ohio State to Tennessee, 1996. And that's when I started to become a Tennessee Titans fan. So I've been a Tennessee Titans fan now for 24 years. Yeah.
That's great. And I remember when Eddie George got pasted in the mouth by Ray Lewis.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And I like Eddie George, man.
Yes.
We actually ate at
the grill.
What's the name of place in Tennessee? Yeah.
Eddie George Grill.
Eddie George Grill. And it's another place that all the Titans go to in Tennessee. I'll send you the picture.
Okay. Yeah, we have an Eddie George Grill here in Ohio. I mean, of course, near.
It was amazing. Man, my Ravens will win the AFC North Championship for 3 straight years in a row, and the Titans will could go for the division against the Texans.
We'll see.
Maybe a wild card, but if Brady don't go, I'm telling you, the Titans will be like the Jaguars was 2 years ago when he got hot. Because good old Henry.
Yeah.
Good old Henry. You're gonna get stopped. I like him. Tannehill was good, and I'm happy. I remember Tannehill when he played for the Dolphins. Remember that?
Yeah, from Miami. Yeah.
Miami. So I like Tennessee, man. And then,
I'm not a big. It's funny because I can't stand Alabama either as an Ohio State fan, but I love Derrick Henry. It's he's as a Titan. It's turning over a new leaf as a Titan. Yeah, didn't like the Alabama Crimson Tide. Can't stand them. Yeah.
No, brother. Somebody said, "What's that?" Wilf said, "Talk wrestling to me." What really has happened that's really exciting? You talk about wrestling, Randy Savage.
Right. We could talk about wrestling.
No, my favorite Randy Savage is no, wait, is Marissa turning heel?
Marissa, no.
Did I
Marissa, I hope you're not going to the dark side. Hope you're not getting influenced by Lexi.
Yeah, heel Lexi, heel Marissa. Okay, can we get back to wrestling? I remember, speaking of wrestling, the ugliest match, and I'm going to include football. One of the ugliest matches, Kevin Green against Mongo and Michael.
Oh man, that was terrible.
That was horrible.
Oh,
you got a little Savage and Nitro and your boy Scotty Norton.
Bad,
man. That was bad.
That was so bad. And then they try to have them be affiliated with the Horsemen. That was so bad. That was so terrible, man.
Oh man,
that was so bad. All right, so let's get into talking wrestling. Obviously, the PNP Nation aren't football fans.
You want to talk about baseball? Because I can talk about baseball. I can be worse.
Yeah, right.
I'm a baseball fan.
Yep, you and I both. All right, so let's jump right into it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. So let's jump right into it. I'm sure somebody can finish it off for me. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Headlines. Here we go. All right, so let's jump right into the Elimination Chamber review. So, yeah. You know, real quick, man, I really don't want to spend too much time with this.
We can be like church. We can just do a summary like Sunday school.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought it was just a pay-per-view. Like, I really give it like a C, maybe a C minus. Really, I mean, it just, to me, there was nothing about Elimination Chamber that was necessary. You know, you knew it was going to be Shayna Baszler. I think the writing was on the wall as far as Miz and Morrison retaining.
Yeah.
It was just nothing that was necessary. It was just okay. It was just meh. It's just nothing. I mean, yeah, okay. Perhaps it made Baszler look more dominant, perhaps, but you know, I think you shouldn't have done that at the expense of Asuka, though. Especially if they're still trying, because right now the rumor is a triple threat tag match, the women's tag match, Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against Natalya and Beth Phoenix. So, I mean, yeah, you don't, and the thing is, you don't want to make Asuka look weak in any stretch, because I think there's a ton of money in Baszler versus Asuka on the main roster. I mean, those were the two most dominant people in the history of NXT as far as the women's division. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of money on the table, because if you don't do Rousey and Baszler, which I think would be super dope at SummerSlam, I think Asuka Baszler would be pretty good too. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to make Asuka look weak like that. But overall, I just really think, I mean, I think there was some good spots in the
botches.
Yeah, it was good spots in the tag match, but there were a ton of botches. I mean, a ton of botches. And women's match too. It was a botch for the city.
I don't know why the women's match main evented. It was.
Yeah.
And as a teaser. As a teaser for the flavor of the week that's coming up later in the show, that was probably one of the last times since the flavor of the week, which I'm not going to spoil yet. When I was there, that main event felt as empty as this one. This was like, this is some Elimination Chamber. Drew Gulak. Am I saying his name
Gulak
right?
and Brian, that match was really good.
Gulak and Brian was good.
Yeah, it was.
Miz and Morrison retained. Sami Zayn won the IC title. Who cares? And the women's match was a slumber party.
Yeah.
Other than that, what really happened? I mean, you Shayna Baszler comes in L. We call it an L. She done L'd everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to a buddy of mine who was a basic wrestling fan, and he told me, and I didn't think about it. He said, "Why you gonna have a match when like 90% of the people you don't care about? Liv Morgan, the Riot Squad,
Yeah,
come on." And then it seemed like it took like 80 years for Oscar to come out the pod.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it seemed like it was longer when Liv Morgan was about to come out.
Right.
It just seems like she was just waiting there looking at her, and Liv Morgan was like breathing heavily.
Right, exactly.
Really
it is.
Yeah.
And to me, in my opinion, I just don't think Shane is really. I like her in NXT. I just don't think she's really transitioning well. She's just some reason just isn't clicking for me on the main roster, and there's nothing 100%. Against her. She just isn't clicking. Like either you need a Heyman, you need a manager, or you just alling people out.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. 100%. There's just something that's just not there for me when it comes to Baszler. It's just. I think I loved her in NXT. I think it was fantastic because you don't really have to have a ton of charisma when it's like NXT still has an indie style feel to it. So you don't have to, it's not like a big stage feel to it. It's still in Full Sail and stuff like that. So it's not like a big stage, like it's not like sports entertainment, like when it comes to the NXT. But with Raw, with the main roster, I mean, you got it's a sports entertainment feel to it, and there's just something about Baszler to me that just does not click charisma wise. Now, if she had a stick person, I think that
I was gonna say, she needs a manager.
Yeah, for sure. Perhaps bring Paige back or something like that to manage her or something that. I don't know.
Or just don't talk at all.
Who else?
Just
would?
Don't talk. Just don't.
They're
going
to make her talk, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know who else would. I mean, your boy Abraham Washington would be pretty.
Yeah, he could. I mean,
or MVP could be.
Yeah, somebody just said that. Shane.
Yeah. Shane. Yep. Shane said Street Profits. No, I wouldn't have them be the manager for the Street Profits because Street Profits are really good baby faces right now. I'm all for that. But yeah, it's just I agree with you. This is something not clicking. Sammy winning. I mean, this is his first championship, so part of me was like, okay, finally, well deserved, long overdue. This first time, finally, Sami Zayn winning a singles championship. But I'm not feeling this gimmick at all.
It was a handicap match.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense because Braun, it took three people to beat Braun Strowman. I get it, but at the same time, and he's a heel, so he's supposed to do heelish things. But it's just there's just something about this gimmick that's just not clicking with me.
Braun Strowman, we've not cared about him since he feuded with Reigns, and he felt like literally unstoppable, like Frieza from Dragon Ball Z.
With you.
And I said this on this show a year and a half ago, and on my show, I said once Strowman, the more he started to talk, the worse he was going to get. And what happens? Catch These Hands is cool. When he was just like Incredible Hulk, talking like very little bit, he was cool.
Yeah.
No, he's talking, he's having full sentences, he's laughing and smiling. He's the tag champ from like a little 4 kid.
What really hurt him was what that little like short alliance with the Ziggler and McIntyre. Remember those three? And he was the one talking. I remember they came to Columbus. I remember they came on Raw one week, and when they were making that when they were doing that stable, I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense if Ziggler's the one talking because he's the smallest one. You want to protect the big man and Strowman and McIntyre. But Strowman was the one talking out of the three of them. I said, wait a minute, this is weird. You should not have Strowman be the one talking out of the three of them. It just didn't make any sense at all. And I still got some stock in Braun Strowman. I still think that there's a lot left in him. I wouldn't turn him heel or do something stupid like that. I think that there's a lot of stock left in him. It's just that, I mean, again, WWE has done a really bad job with really keeping the stock up with Strowman. What really hurt him was the constant losses of the championship. Like he just kept going for the championship and losing and going and losing and going and losing. I think there was like 6 or 7 times I counted in the past like 2 years that he was going for the title and lost. So
and then don't forget he also lost to Baby Powder and Bobby Lashley because he had a feud for 4 weeks. Remember that?
That's terrible.
That was his bad. Shane Odom said what hurt Braun is when he tagged with Alexa Bliss. Actually, I disagree. That actually helped him. That was doing the mixed match challenge. That's not really. That wasn't Shane like what you call canon. It didn't have anything to do with the current story.
Right.
Something fun, and that actually really helped him. So I was having a personality that was cool. Helped Alexa Bliss as well. Mm-hmm. But this Braun is he's a beast. He's. But once again, like we have not seen Lashley against Brock. Brock just doesn't like Strowman. That's why we've never seen a program with them. Yeah. He had that one match, that was it, and then
when Brock did the stiff, he did the potato.
And I was there. I was there right there in the second row.
Wow.
And then Chamber was just bad. I've seen WCW Nitros in 2001 and in 1995 Nitro. And I've seen Monday Night Raws that was in 1994 when it was 1 hour, and that was better than this Elimination Chamber. This was horrible. It was just bad. I mean, we touched each other doing it. We were laughing. And like I said, it wasn't the worst thing. It just was like.
It was just there. I mean, it was there. It was just not like, again, it was unnecessary. That's the biggest thing. That's my biggest. If I would explain Elimination Chamber in one word, it would be unnecessary. And that's exactly how I felt about the pay-per-view. I was watching the pay-per-view. It wasn't terrible. I mean, there were good spots to it. I mean, there were good spots in both chamber matches. Well, not necessarily women's. The women's wasn't very good at all, but the males, there was definitely some good spots. Crowd was dead a lot, and that's weird coming from a DC crowd. That they were dead. That they made the night boring a lot, because the beginning of you had Usos and New Day going against each other, and the crowd just wasn't really into it. And those are the two best teams of the decade, of the last decade, the Usos and New Day. So, and then they were trying to, and there was a few botches there too, and just waiting for it was Lindsay. It was waiting for Lindsay. Just kept and Otis kept looking up, and it's just like it was just a bunch of botches, and just really didn't work out too well. Yeah, I mean, Gulak and Bryan was really good. I'm glad that Gulak, got a pay-per-view spot. That's cool, right? I mean, it's a silver lining type of feel to it, but still, it was just unnecessary. So, City of Tampa to meet this week on whether to postpone WrestleMania events. Now, this is huge. I believe Thursday is when they're supposed to be meeting up. And essentially, from what I heard and what's going on around right now, like WrestleMania, the event will not be canceled unless Vince is forced to cancel it. Like unless Tampa's shutting it down and saying you can't have it here. But the thing is, that's millions of dollars on the table. You're hurting Raymond James. You're hurting Raymond James Stadium. You're hurting Vince McMahon and WWE.
Economy of Florida.
This is the most lucrative, other than Super Showdown, and that's. I mean, as far as American, this is the most lucrative event of the year, hands down. And you just, there's just so much at risk, to do that. I mean, here's my thing. Look, you have a no contact clause with WWE now because of coronavirus. wash your hands. I was, it's funny because I was looking up, I was doing some study on Corona, and they said, 2 to 14 days after contact, it usually spreads within 6 feet of being each other. But it was even the Center for Disease Control is being vague about it. There's so much ambiguity toward the corona, and there's so many theories going on. It's Angel Garza even said it was fake. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I don't know about that. There's reported deaths. You got to respect that. But it's
yeah,
it just seems like, and I've talked to people about this before. It just seems like with election season, it just seems like there's a new thing every election season. Anthrax and so. And again, let's respect the people who unfortunately were victims of the coronavirus, based on these reports. If, based on the authenticity of what we've seen reported so far, based on that, of course, we respect, the lives and the families lost from those who fell victim to it, for sure. I do think that there's some precautions that can be taken, and I do think that essentially you're missing out on a lot of stuff. I know that OSU camp is closing the open auditorium lectures for the next 3 weeks. So there, because there was a case that's hit up north in Cuyahoga County, that's North Ohio, near around Cleveland area. So yeah, it's legit. I mean, from what the reports are saying, but at the same time, I think at the end of the day, yes, you will have hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, you have at least 100,000 people, at least 100,000 people in one spot around the weekend. There'll definitely be a lot of germs, within. A lot of food being purchased, a lot of food being made. I get it. I would say that there definitely should be some precautionary measures, even from a day-to-day basis, from anybody. Bring you some rubbing alcohol. From what I studied, it's good to have contact within. It's good to be sanitized within 10 seconds of this. Thinking you may have contact. There's shortness of breath, coughing, and things like that are some symptoms. But I mean, those aren't symptoms that are really different from anything else as far as viruses and things like that. So I think I probably will most likely. It said be sure that the alcohol is 60% or higher. That's in the sanitizer. So I'm gonna be looking for some 60% plus alcohol sanitizer, and I will have me my little sanitizer around me, and I will be sanitizing all day long to do that. But I think there's precautionary measures. There's just way too much money on the table to make the decision to cancel the event, in my opinion.
I was looking at the text. From what I got inside too, more than likely will probably happen is a lot of the Mania events probably be canceled. I don't see Mania itself being canceled because, like you said, that's a lot of money. That's millions of dollars on the line. Events, you got Florida. You got to think, whenever a city hosts WrestleMania, like the Super Bowl, that's a lot of money that city and that state makes. The Super Bowl just was in Miami, January. And then you have WrestleMania in Tampa this year. And next year, Super Bowl is going to be in Tampa. So that's a lot of money at stake. So we'll just see. I mean, Coachella, one of the biggest music festivals ever, is canceled because of coronavirus. Any video game fans, E3 is on the way about being canceled. You have ECCC, Emerald City Comic Con is canceled. They're doing a virtual thing. One of my employees, he lives in Georgia, so some of the school districts there is being shut down. San Antonio just had a issue. So, and a good friend of mine, Lady M, nickname we gave her. She's a nurse, and she just texted me today and was telling me that they're now offering people about $5,000
Wow.
to be basically like a guinea pig. Or I mean, she's not, but she was saying there's studies going on. They'll pay you $5,000 to basically be like a guinea pig for the
Wow.
corona. But I don't see it. Wash your hands. We all work. If you work at a computer, and I'm an IT professional as well, over 15 years, there is 10 times more germs at a computer desk
Oh gosh, yes.
than
Yeah.
it is on the toilet seat.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go is germs. You hold a handle, you hold a doorknob, you touch a steering, you go to
You go to any
a
public
restaurant, any public restaurant, right? Any public restaurant. The menus, the
Yes. The
menus
menus are
of
terrible.
a restaurant
Yep.
are so filthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just
Yep.
just
Any of
pray.
the container bottles, like if
Container bottles,
there's
right.
like ketchup or mustard or anything like that, they don't
Right.
wipe that stuff off. Yeah.
Holding again,
Yeah.
and I hate, and you know this, Chris. I hate, of course, I pump gas. We don't live in Jersey. Shout out to my family in Jersey where they don't have to pump gas at all. Someone gets to pump it for
Someone
them. Man, get out of here with that.
preferential treatment.
Yeah. But other than that, I hate touching the handle of a gas pump, and then we all touching our faces, eating, and so pray, hand sanitizer.
There you go.
There's a funny video of it's just kind of funny of a lady. I'll send it to you. I think I sent it to you, Chris. Of a lady that put her kid was wrapped up in a trash bag.
Yeah, oh my
So,
gosh, that was so extra. That was just so extra.
trash.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
that was so extra.
but
Uh,
with the election years, to let you know, 2004 was SARS.
sorry.
2008 was a Valiant. 2010 was the swine flu. 2012 was MERS. 2014 was Ebola. Yep. 2016 was Zika. 2018 was Ebola. Now you got the corona.
Yep.
Then you also got H1N1. You got Disney herpes.
Yep.
All this other stuff. Anthrax.
Yep.
Elvis just said in Colorado, 17 cases have been confirmed. I was in Colorado last year. Lovely place. But we'll see, brother. I mean, you have to watch Mania at that place. It might just be in the bubble, you know.
Yeah, right.
You gotta be the wrestlers coming out and fighting in the bubble
wrap,
bubble wraps, saran wrap, Ziploc bags.
Right.
But
Marissa said, why do they keep making matches they're going to cancel it? I mean, Vince is going to keep going. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Like it's not
definite.
It's not definite, and they're supposed to be meeting on Thursday to cancel the WrestleMania events. So unless it's just a wide shutdown of the city, I doubt that WrestleMania is going to be canceled. They just may make precautionary measures to cancel the WrestleMania week events, which Hall of Fame, SmackDown, things like that. But again, we'll just have to wait and see Thursday, and then maybe Vince is like, look, I'm losing out way too much money. I'm gonna spend these next 3 weeks trying to find another building, and I will get my plane ticket switched over to another city. That's what I would do. So yeah, I mean, I think essentially, I don't think there's nothing to worry about, to be honest with you. I really don't think there's nothing to be worried about. There was another, people are saying different diseases that was around, different things. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the third and last one. Nia Jax set to return back to in-ring action after recovering from double knee surgery. Now, she did make an interesting comment recently stating that he's like, well, I guess I'll go back to being a model. So you can read, in between that, there's been some talks that she's been cleared for a little while now. She started training going back to the PC in December. So it's been, 3 months. I mean, I guess, they don't have anything to do with her. They don't have any way to use her right now. Now, does she Was she a part of the draft? Because she got the surgery in April.
I don't think she was a part of the draft at all.
I don't think. Yeah, I think she's a free agent, so she really can pop up anywhere she want. I do think I saw Tamina. I know she was like 24/7 champ for a hot sec. I mean, honestly, I really think that they should go back to Nia Jax and Tamina being a team. I mean, I really think that they have the opportunity to be. Because the thing is, Tamina is one of the most poorly used superstars in history.
She's great. She's so good in the ring.
Yeah, she's
a second generation.
Good. Yeah, and I'm just like,
just because she's over 40, you think she's like 42?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah,
I mean, she looks good. Yeah. She can move.
I think they should make her really.
Everybody likes her.
Somebody said, shout out to Shane. I think he said he was watching. He's at the hospital watching this. Listen.
Oh man,
it's like the recovery epidemic. So, are you visiting the hospital?
Yeah, visiting. Are you there?
You're actually in the hospital for something, Shane. So let us know about that.
Nina, man, she looked good. She can work. I mean, and she just now you talk about DLC. She just download there for 2 weeks.
Oh, she's been in so many different things. I mean,
and Tamina, her and
AJ,
then her and Nia Jax twice in the tag team.
Yep.
It's like then she showed up and she's like, "Come on!" And then you can always tell.
Started with the Usos. Remember she
right?
Yeah, the Usos.
So, and you can always tell they're not confident in how she looks because they never do zoom in shots on her face. It's always far away.
Mm-hmm.
That's with anybody, like you, especially with women, because it's all about looks. So,
right,
if you don't, you can look at Trish, Alexa, Paige, anybody with Sasha, Charlotte. Everything is zoom in.
Yeah, right.
Zoom in, right. And to me, it's like, wide shot.
Yeah,
it's really like pan. So
yeah, really interesting.
Oh, he's visiting his dad. He said,
you're visiting your dad?
Yeah, so we wish your dad well.
Yes. Prayers go to your dad. Prayers go to your dad. Shane. All right. Let's go to Raw and SmackDown review. Again, I don't have much to say about this. Really, I really don't have much to say about Raw and SmackDown. Let's do a few trivia questions. Let's do a little fun because we're going to zoom through Raw and SmackDown, and we're going to talk about the flavor of the week. Let's do some Raw. Let's do some trivia real quick. Here's the first trivia question. Speaking of Macho Man, who were the Mega Powers competing against when I turn on Hulk Hogan, that hot dog and grandstanding son of a gun, backstage in 1989? Who were the Mega Powers competing against when the Macho Man turned on Hulk Hogan backstage when the Macho Man?
And funny news, I had this debate last week on my show. Real quick, I said about how when a wrestler is over, anything they do can get over. They can do the most simplest thing and they'll get over. And I said, for instance, I talked about Orange Cassidy. Look how over he is. Kid Kash is cosplaying as him. He can do anything and it's over. Same way with The Rock. And I said, look at The Rock's finishing move, a people's elbow. It doesn't hurt. He runs and stops.
Yeah.
And drops.
And he barely even hits him.
He barely hits him. And he wins.
Yeah.
And I would say that somebody was like, well, he's 200. He runs and stops. Pauses. There's momentum.
Yeah.
He drops an elbow, which never really connects.
And
But it's over because The Rock is so over. It's
That's right.
The same way with Orange Cassidy. I had a friend debate. If Orange Cassidy's over, you got kids, everybody's seen him, you got shirts. He can do anything. And I said, even with Jerry Lawler, look how over he is. And his move is a fist drop off the second rope.
Yeah. He had a mean pile driver, though.
Oh, yeah, the pile driver was great.
Yeah,
everybody sees,
Yeah, he'll do the strap, pull the strap down.
And beat him.
Just do the
He's like 78 years old doing this thing. And Lawler's cool. I'm cool with Lawler. Good dude. Saint the late Brian Christopher was good people too.
Yeah.
So anything you do can be over. I mean, Piper did an eye poke.
Yeah.
Remember that? It's in the video games. You did your little eye poke.
Eye poke, and then the schoolboy.
Yeah, schoolboy. So.
Yep. Good job, Shane. The Mega Bucks, Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giants.
Andre the Giants was a part of some good tag teams, man. The Mega Bucks, Colossal Collection.
Actually, that's not true. That is not correct. You're right, Evan, but that's not correct. So someone come up with the right answer. That it was not the correct answer. Good choice. Good try though. Good try though, Shane. But it was not the Mega Bucks.
Yeah, Shane. Jay Lawler's fireball was about a yes.
Yes, fireball. All right, looks like I stumped you all. Perfect and rude. No, definitely wasn't perfect and rude.
No.
All right, looks like I stumped y'all. Come on, where's the wrestling scholars at? Where's the wrestling encyclopedia? They call me the wrestling encyclopedia.
Yeah, both of us. I even throw one in there. What move was the original Rude Awakening?
Remember you asked this before, and I don't think anybody.
No one got it.
Yeah.
No one got it.
All right, Twin Towers. What's up, Mo? Let me guess. It was the Twin Towers, guys. It was the Twin Towers. I was expecting it to be a lot less time than that. Here we go. Owen Hart teamed with who to form High Energy? High Energy.
One year we should dress up like them. Let them sing.
Talk about your cosplay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man. Who was it? Who was it?
Hey Mo. Shane got it right. Coco Beware.
Yep. There you go.
Hey Mo, who was that creepy looking chick that was in AEW Dark? The one that was licking the girl's ear. Who was that? I don't know if you saw that picture, Chris.
No, I did not.
So Brian, the reverse net breaker was the most infamous version.
First one was the DDT.
First one was the DDT.
Mm-hmm.
First, I knew you knew. You know, we like Toon Encyclopedia. So
Jake, DDT.
Hey Robert. Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember he used to go for
the next question. What was Monty Brown's finishing move called? Monty Brown's
one of my all-time favorites.
Called.
Remember he was Marcus Corvine, hit the
yes.
Whatever that was.
Going down, call me smooth. You know, that song was so funny.
You're not playing that song
I can't play it because I will get pinged, but I really want to play it.
Mania weekend. I know you.
I will
wake up in the morning and gonna play it.
Yes.
You do that.
I will pray, I'll read my Bible, and I'll play Marcus Corvine.
Do that. I will blast the Pac-Man Jones TNA thing. Better yet, I will go worse. I will blast the band TNA thing.
Oh man,
that's what I'm telling you now.
It was like such a generic sounding. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh man.
Yes, it was terrible.
Robbie got it right.
Here you go, Elvis, Mo,
everyone got it right.
Shane, but I like Robbie's the best though. The Pounce. Period.
Speaking of which, I'll say coming up on my show, I know he's been busy delayed. Don West, former TNA announcer, be on my show saying that it's the Pele. They're just so fast. Imagine him in Morrow. Mamma mia.
Wow. Morrow and Don West.
It's the best here. It's the Pele. It's the best.
Oh man, that'll be here.
I just tweeted Eric Adam Cole with the music. It's gotta be so fast, so strong, so furious. Oh, no adjectives.
Which pay-per-view did Mark Henry defeat Randy Orton to become World Heavyweight Champion?
Oh, forgot about
which pay-per-view did Randy Orton did Mark Henry Or as Tony Atlas say, Mark
Henry.
Mark
Henry.
Henry.
Mark
Henry.
Henry or Henry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry. The one, only the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
It's sad when you do a quick random 3-second segment of Tony Atlas. It's more entertaining than Raw or SmackDown.
The Elimination Chamber.
Some people said SummerSlam, No Mercy.
Nope.
In your house.
And in your house, deadly.
They should bring that back. It might be in your house for real with the coronavirus. That'll be something right there.
True.
Empty arena match, empty arena WrestleMania.
Oh gosh, empty arena matches were.
Oh man,
I remember that thing, Kurt Angle TNA empty arena match. That was yuck.
Oh man.
Okay, looks like I stumped y'all. PNP Nation, what? I am not getting the correct answer. Which pay-per-view did Mark Henry defeat Randy Orton to become World Heavyweight Champion? We don't have much time left. We only got 10 minutes left. You guys are going to give me the right answer or no? That's the second one I've stumped you. Nope. All the ones I see is incorrect. Incorrect, PNP Nation. Come on. All right.
Survive Armageddon.
The end is here.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
That was the same. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
The longest day, the beginning was so
long. The end is here. Those vignettes were always good too.
Don't forget Deadly Game.
Yeah, I remember Deadly. I remember Deadly Game. Deadly Game. Yeah, I remember all those. Those were pretty cool. Okay, no. None of y'all remember.
Fist of Blood, Mooney in the Bank.
All right. Night of Champions, y'all. Night of Champions. All right, last trivia question for the nights. I can replace with Corey Graves and make WWE more interesting. Thanks, Robbie. I appreciate it, man. Last trivia question of the night. What type of match was Roddy Piper versus Mr. T at WrestleMania 2? Roddy Piper versus Mr. T at WrestleMania 2. What do y'all have? Roddy Piper versus Mr. T. All right, there you go, Elvis. A boxing match.
Thanks, picture, Elvis.
Match. Good job, Elvis. Shane, I see you got it too. Good job, y'all. Good trivia for tonight. All right, let's just do grades for Raw and SmackDown. I really don't care too much.
Raw,
you got it right. You got it right, Alma. Night of Champions. There you go.
Okay, she did. Okay.
I think did you do it afterwards though? Because this comment was before yours, Alma. That was after I said it. Did I miss it? Alma? Because I don't see Night of Champions. I see SummerSlam up here, and nobody didn't see it. So I must have missed it. All right. Great for Raw and SmackDown, y'all. Raw and SmackDown.
SmackDown C minus.
Raw D. What I'm talking about. Really leading up to.
Oh, we forgot. Let's talk about Undertaker out of shape, showing up wearing a black T-shirt again. Like he didn't even wear his outfit. This was a black T-shirt and black pajama pants.
Yeah, he's
and he keeps choke slamming AJ. This match makes no sense.
No. I said boxing first, and then she said it. Oh, okay. So got it. So you got the boxing match right. Got it. Okay, got it. Boxing. All right. Cool. Cool. You were going to Raw, but you're glad you didn't show up. All right, that pretty much sums up Raw together. Mo's an avid wrestling fan.
You didn't like Edge?
Go to Raw, but he didn't. I like the Edge segment.
Old man Edge.
I like the Edge segment. Yeah. Yeah. Next week's headline: AEW subsidiary of WWE, and Shane is actually running behind the scenes, and Khan is just a higher figurehead.
That would be hilarious. It's not true.
That would be hilarious, but that's
Not
not because Shane, he's only been off he's only AEW started over a year ago. Started January of the TV started October. Yeah, and I think Shane stopped being on TV around that time. But I think it was after though. I think he was still feuding with Kevin Owens or
yes. Yes, Mo. Money in the Bank is here in Baltimore in May.
Okay.
Actually, it's busy because Best in the World. No, I'm sorry, I'm saying wrong. Ring of Honor was a War of the Worlds. Okay. If I'm right, it was the Best in the World.
Best in the World is one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest. Best in the World is usually in May, I believe.
Yes, Best in the World is here. Here in Baltimore, and then Money in the Bank is also here in May. So
June. Let me see. Let me look for you.
One of the world.
Best in the World is in Catonsville. Yeah.
Here. Yep, 5 minutes from my house. Mm-hmm. So yes, Best in the World in May will be here, and Money in the Bank will be here. So one of the top 3 wrestling cities of all time, Baltimore, Maryland. If you don't believe it, look up the book Baltimore.
Great American Bash.
Great American Bash, NWA.
Bruno. June 19th. Baltimore. The UMBC Event Center. Best in the World's in June. Money in the Bank.
May.
It goes back. Yeah, it's on May 10th. Yeah, it's usually there's been times it's been in June. It just kind of flip flops. But yeah, that's on May 10th. So all right. Grades, guys. Grades. What y'all think? Grades for Raw and SmackDown, real quick, because we're gonna jump right into the fun of the week.
How did it feel to see a pay-per-view with none of the world champions showing up? Man, none of the world champions.
But you saw. Here's the funny part: the same world people complaining that it was like a B. It was a B star show. There wasn't any stars. Interesting. There was no Roman Reigns, the person you complain about all the time. Not you, but people.
Yeah, I got
Goldberg. Part timer. Brock Lesnar, part timer. Oh man, I didn't like this pay-per-view because it wasn't any star power. Oh, interesting. Yeah, very interesting. B- for Elvis. Kyle says Gronk is close to a deal with WWE. That would be interesting. They may bring Mojo Rawley out of his slump.
Oh gosh.
Raw C, SmackDown C plus. Brian CNC, CNC Music Factory. Barry Cedric again. Yeah, he had a really interesting Twitter. Yeah, Homer Simpson. Yeah, I saw that. Let's see. Marissa, Raw B, SmackDown B. All right. Cool. Yeah, Raw, Black Rollins, and then the 8-man. That was just a boy. MVP, the EVP Edge thing was cool. Lashley just beating the snot out of Zack Ryder. That was pointless. And then McIntyre and Rowan, and then Kabuki Warriors beating Natalya and Liv Morgan. What? That was I give Raw about Mysterio and Garza was a good match. C minus. Yeah. Really.
Did you ever think the time would come where Wednesday nights would be more exciting than Mondays and Fridays?
Yeah,
like you look forward to Wednesdays.
Nights. Big shout out to Elvis.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, you got.
Pancakes and Powerslams was A+.
Thank you, Elvis.
You, man.
Yeah, you got two. Well, Tuesday nights, of course, because of PNP and Under the Mat Radio. But you also got AEW Dark. You got NWO Power. And then
Power.
and then you got Wednesdays with NXT and AEW.
AEW, yeah. SmackDown was whack too. Yeah, that was probably like a D plus. Yeah,
what happened on SmackDown?
My boy Apollo Crews got beat again. Yeah, unfortunately.
Don't they all? Cedric, Apollo Crews, Ricochet.
Apollo Crews.
Truly amazing.
Ugh.
But what is Lashley doing?
They should have ended Raw with the Edge Orton and Peanut tag match. I can dig that. I think that, yeah, I like it. I like that. That's a good idea. All right, we only got a few minutes. Let's do it for the week. Here we go.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this flavor of the week. So the flavor of the week was WrestleMania really that bad? WrestleMania 27. What do y'all think, y'all? We got a few more minutes. Was WrestleMania 27 really that bad?
Oh, I was there. Oh man. Oh man. Rock wearing his fitted jeans.
Yeah.
That was that Mania just was so Cole and Michael Cole and Lawler and the Triple H.
Oh, that was horrible. Oh my god.
And it lasted so long. I mean, the Triple H and Undertaker match was okay.
Yeah, it was.
Other than that, I can't even remember what else happened.
So you had Sheamus beating DB in a dark lumberjack.
Yeah,
it was no contest. Lumberjack match, no contest. 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Mm-hmm. Khali won by eliminating Sheamus in a battle royal.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
First match was Edge defeating Del Rio.
That was okay.
Brian said it was forgettable.
It was.
I agree. Oh, that Cole and Lawler match. Yeah, that was terrible. Cody defeating Ray. Actually, that was a good match. I was pretty surprised about that because that was
Cody won.
That was the Cody with the mask.
That's when Cody really started getting over. So that was hey Cody.
That was the paper bag Cody.
That was a good match.
Yeah. What's up, Cody? Good to have you with us, man. Yeah. That was a paper bag. That was a paper bag Cody. That was actually one of his best gimmicks. Big Show, Kane, Kofi, and Santino defeating the Core. Ooh, yuck! I'm cool with Zeke. I'm real cool with Zeke.
Yeah, you do.
I should ask him what his thoughts was. I'm sure he felt good of having a WrestleMania spot, but I'm interested to see when he was on the show before. We didn't talk about the Core. I'm interested to see what he thought about the Core. But the Core was just such a ripoff. For one, and for two, that was weird. Big Show, Kane, Kofi, Kingston, and Santino. Whoa. What an odd pairing. An odd concoction there. Orton beating Punk clean. Singles match.
Forgettable.
Yeah, man. And then Cole beating Lawler. Austin as the referee. Austin comes to save the day with these matches. He's the guest referee. Yeah. Marissa thinks there's been worse WrestleManias. Not many. I think WrestleMania 9 was probably worse, and 11 probably worse. Yeah.
13 wasn't that big good either.
13 was in.
WrestleMania 3 wasn't good either.
13 had my Allied Powers on it, didn't it?
Yeah, at the beginning.
They go against the Blues Brothers. Blue, aka the Harris twins, the Harris brothers.
Just watch that match and Austin and Brett. That's it.
Oh, that must have been 11. 13 was the Headbangers defeating Furnace and LaFon, Godwins, and the New Blackjacks in a number one contenders match. So yeah, that was 13. 11 was, I think, the
Allied Powers. It was
Allied Powers against the Blue Brothers. Yeah. All right. So Taker against Tripp, no holds barred. That almost went in a half hour. Remember, I think he won. He won with the Hell's Gate, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gogo Plata.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Cool to see your name in the Flavor of the Week video. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Gabriel. Yeah, your name is. I didn't even notice. That's cool. Good stuff, man. Yeah,
right?
I think he won with the Gogo Plata that year. Correct me if I'm wrong, PNP Nation, but I think he won with the Gogo Plata. Yeah. The only thing saving the bad WrestleMania is the Hall of Fame ceremony. I think this is shaping up to be one of the best WrestleManias in a long time. I think the card is super stacked. I'm loving it. I haven't been this excited about a WrestleMania in a long time, honestly. Morrison, Snooki, and Trish defeating Ziggler and Lay. This is the one where who was it? I think Trish threw shade on Morrison and then celebrate or something like that because
yeah,
it was something I forgot what it was. There was some shade between I think Trish and Morrison. That was really really interesting. Matter of fact, I forgot what the backstory about that was. It was something to do with Morrison throwing shade on Trish,
something like that.
Coming back, I forgot what it was. I'm sure I can find it real quick. Yeah, but I remember it was something crazy of why she threw shade on John Morrison that year. I'm looking it up real quick.
Do you think that this Mania is going to be WrestleMania 33? Even though WrestleMania 33 is this filler and it never really happened.
So real quick, say that again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think this Mania can be 33? Because 33 never happened, remember?
Right.
That's an alternate universe now.
I think so.
Taker came back.
I think it can because at the end of the day, you should have, which probably will happen most likely, you'll have Drew McIntyre holding up the belt, pointing at the WrestleMania, pointing and holding up the belt and fireworks. That'll be the fireworks moment, will be Drew McIntyre beating Brock Lesnar at the end. So that'll be a good way to end WrestleMania for sure.
Be better than last year.
Yes.
That just wouldn't matter because 33 was in another universe. I mean, Cena was Nikki.
Becky was last year. It was just a weird way to end it.
We were tired.
Yeah.
To go.
It was like,
he was in pain.
Super long. All right, real quick. Trish Stratus recalls backstage argument with John Morrison at WrestleMania 27 cold shoulder. Okay. So yeah, she went she was on Lila Garcia's podcast, talked about it last year. So Morrison cold shouldered to her at WrestleMania. So she didn't really talk with Melina for years over the incident because they were dating at the time until recently they've made up. So the incident happened at WrestleMania after winning. This is from 401 Mania. Give them a shout out for writing this. This incident happened at WrestleMania when, after winning a 6-person tag team match with the Jersey Shore with Snooki, Stratus went to raise Morrison's hand. However, he ignored her and walked to the other side of Snooki. And he did the same thing in the tag match with her against Ziggler and Vicky the next night on Raw. So they had a literal conversation in the back, is what they said. They had it wasn't a little conversation, actually. It was the first time we were passionately talking about it. He said basically, I was like, you just stole a moment from a performance. Whatever you feel about me, maybe you think you're not cool with me, which is fine. I don't mind, but we're performing, and tonight we're partners. And the crowd was excited about us as a team and as a partnership. And you've taken that moment from the fans. Interesting. So Morrison was the one who threw shade on Trish because of Melina. So very, very interesting. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess according to the PNP Nation, WrestleMania 37 was that bad. So
27.
WrestleMania 27, 37.
37
is on par with being really good, actually. You probably get Rock Reigns. That's what it's been teased so far. Which I mean, that's marquee all over the place.
Yeah.
Rock and Reigns.
And we'll finally get Taker's thing, and then we'll be sure.
No, it's not gonna happen.
I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, boy.
Not gonna happen, man.
I'm not giving up.
No, I don't want it. See how the thing is, I don't want it to happen.
You may not want it, then it might happen, brother. We look.
No, it would have no. It would have happened a long time ago. Like Taker and Sting wrestled in the same WrestleMania. They wrestled in the same WrestleMania.
Yeah,
they wrestled at 31, and they didn't wrestle each other.
It's like it was weird in 19 that you had Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, and Triple H.
Wow.
Which is the second GOAT Mania. The GOAT Mania is always 17, up and down. Yeah. And then it's 19. Yeah, 19. And after that is like debatable.
I like 3 just because of the point.
But beginning to end though, that was not a great Mania. WrestleMania 3.
No, I mean the first
last 2
10 Manias were very good.
Right. But beginning to end,
it was pretty good, but like no.
17 and 19, beginning to end was great.
Well, the segments with 17, were
just by itself.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, they were amazing. Yeah, awesome. Cody says he doesn't want to see against the Nice Walker. Cody, I don't want to see Taker even wrestle anymore against increasingly painful to watch.
My man,
Sting is the GOAT, man.
Sting is in good shape. Unlike my man
Taker. Sting is in good shape, yeah.
Taker's number 2 on my American list. He's behind Sting. Yeah. Taker's not in good. He did you see what Taker wore? He wore a undershirt and pants. And I love Taker.
Yeah.
And how do and why would we care if 2 weeks in a row we seen AJ get chokeslammed? And I'm friends with AJ. That's my man. We cool.
Yeah, that's still weird to me.
AJ, yeah. So why would we care about the match?
If we here's the deal, and we're going to close with this. If we didn't see Taker versus Sting at 31, we're not going to see Taker versus.
You really want to see that with the sun out?
And I don't want to see it at all, actually. And again, I say if WWE would have done a better job with, Sting's the GOAT to me. I can't just have my boy just lose.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, like if WWE would have done a better job with booking Sting since he's been here, I would be cool with it. I would be cool with Sting. I would be cool with it for sure. But they've done such a terrible, terrible job booking Sting altogether, and that would be another loss. And his WWE career it's already bad. It could be terrible.
Yeah. So Jim Ross already called out on it too and said that recently.
Yeah, it was a bad call to have him lose to Triple H.
It'd be worse than Marlon Cole because I was there for that.
That was bad, but to me, heartfelt wise, Sting losing to Triple H was terrible. It was horrible.
On for the Rock.
Absolutely horrible. Right, all to set up for a match that never happened the year.
Information. Chris Featherstone had a tear in his eye.
Oh, a tear in my eye. It was a bad tear. It was a bad tear. According to Flair, it was the greatest moment in his life, but it was one of the worst moments of my professional wrestling fandom for sure. So, all right, y'all, it's been a pleasure. 200, 400. I said 800 the first time. 200, 400. Listen. 415 episodes in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to Kid Kash. Awesome interview today. On behalf of my boy Evan Tech Prout, I am Chris Featherstone, and hope you enjoyed 415. Go check it out in the archives or with Crave Wrestling. Hey, subscribe to the Crave Wrestling Facebook page. I get thousands of listeners here, a ton of people on the audio. solely, amazingly appreciate the support. Thank you so much, everybody. And we still got a really good number here. It's even now, it's after 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close there. But be sure to subscribe to the Pancakes and Powerslam show on YouTube, youtube.com/Crave Wrestling. Crave Wrestling YouTube. Hit that sub for me. Hit that sub. I would definitely appreciate it. And of course, Patreon for those who have, for those after 3 months, you get a PNP shirt, regular logo. After 6 months, you become a member of the Wrench Mob, and you get a personalized Wrench Mob shirt that I will be wearing at WrestleMania. So big fun, big fun. Appreciate you all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta go at a time. 450 episodes in the books. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Peace.